Ethiopia, a nation of proud history, ancient kingdoms, and endless resilience, is once again standing at the edge of the abyss. This week, Tigrayan fighters crossed into the Afar region, capturing villages and attacking civilians. For many, it feels like déjà vu. The same war, the same suffering, just under a different name. The peace signed in Pretoria in 2022 was supposed to end it all. But in Ethiopia, peace rarely lasts longer than the paper it's written on. For 2 years, the war between the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, and Ethiopia's federal government destroyed lives, cities, and hope. At least 600,000 people were killed, millions displaced, and entire towns turned to dust. Now, Afar authorities accuse Tigrayan forces of breaking that peace, of bombing herders and seizing villages. Whether the accusations are fully true or not almost doesn't matter. What matters is this: Ethiopia is sliding again toward conflict, and this time the country is weaker, poorer, and more divided than ever. When Abiy Ahmed rose to power in 2018, he was hailed as the new face of African unity. He freed prisoners, welcomed exiles, and even won the Nobel Peace Prize. But 7 years later, his dream of unity is crumbling. He's accused of favoring his own Oromo ethnic base while alienating others, especially the Amharas, who once formed the backbone of the Ethiopian state. The Amhara militias that fought beside federal forces during the Tigray War are now turning against them. In some areas, federal troops and Amhara fighters are clashing. A government once seen as a symbol of reconciliation has become another source of division. Outside Ethiopia, powerful neighbors are watching and waiting. Eritrea, still ruled by President Isaias Afwerki, feels betrayed. It fought alongside Abiy during the Tigray War, only to be left out of the Pretoria peace deal. Today, Eritrea's army sits just across the border, alert and resentful. And Egypt, still locked in the Nile water dispute, has its own interest in a divided Ethiopia. A weak Ethiopia means less resistance over the Grand Renaissance Dam and more influence for Cairo. If the fighting resumes, Eritrea could quietly support Tigray or Amhara militias. Egypt could fund or arm factions through proxies. In that chaos, Ethiopia might not survive as one country. Ethiopia's constitution gives each ethnic group its own regional government, its own language, even its own flag. It was supposed to bring peace through autonomy. Instead, it created a fragile house of mirrors, a country made of mini-states, each with its own army and ambition. When war breaks out, loyalty shifts fast. Today, the Oromos support Abiy. Tomorrow, they might not. The Amharas fought the Tigrayans. Next year, they might fight the Oromos. In Ethiopia, yesterday's ally becomes tomorrow's enemy overnight. But here's what most people outside Ethiopia don't see. The real war isn't between armies. It's between survival and despair. Inflation has slowed, yes. But life hasn't become easier. Prices for food, rent, and transport remain unbearable. Salaries haven't moved. The middle class, the teachers, the clerks, the small business owners, has disappeared. Ethiopia's cities are full of quiet suffering. Parents skip meals so their children can eat. Young people dream not of education, but of escape. To Saudi Arabia, to Sudan, anywhere that offers work. The poor are becoming poorer. Hope is collapsing faster than buildings once did in the war. Ethiopia doesn't need another hero with a gun. It needs leaders with courage, not to fight, but to fix, to rebuild schools, to create jobs, to raise wages, to make life possible again. Because if a country can't feed its own people, it doesn't matter who wins the next battle. Poverty is not a side issue anymore. It is the heart of Ethiopia's collapse. A government that keeps chasing enemies while its citizens starve is a government fighting the wrong war. So the question is no longer, will Ethiopia fight again? The question is, what will be left if it does? A proud civilization, home to ancient kingdoms, churches, and wisdom, could dissolve into hunger and hate. The choice is still there, if anyone dares to make it. Feed your people or bury another generation. For more analysis on the Horn of Africa, follow us on horndaily.com and subscribe for stories that matter to the region's future.